Someone's got a Minimalist D20 Hex Crawl and Dungeon Crawl. I mean, if you know me, I'm all about hex crawling, so let's give that a look. So this is a simplified way of doing hex crawls. This is going to go out to a blog, but that's okay. I will post the blog in the chat, the link. This is from the blog. This is from the blog Methods and Madness. Starts with a quote by William Blake. I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. I will not reason and compare. My business is to create. Posted yesterday, which would be July 15th, 2021. Titled, A Minimalist D20 Hex Crawl, ellipsis, and Dungeon Crawl. I'm just going to read the text of the article, at least for now. I ran a couple of D&D 5e campaigns, Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Annihilation, which were basically hex crawls, although neither were particularly good as hex crawls. One thing that bothered me was the amount of dice rolling I had to do whenever the players moved around. Scouting, getting lost, encounters, weather, etc. Also, there were no particular rules on how the encounter happens. What's the distance? Can one party hide from the other, etc. I wanted to reduce the thing to one single roll, or at least fewer rolls. Anyway, here is the Minimalist D20 Hex Crawl. It's written for 5th edition, Dark Fantasy Basic, or any other version if you adjust the numbers. All right, so let's see. I'm not familiar with Dark Fantasy Basic, so I don't know about that one, but obviously 5th edition is 5th edition. Let's be, maybe it might be this person's game. It seems like they have a dark fantasy character. So, okay, so I'm guessing maybe they wrote dark fantasy. Okay, let's get into the meat of it. First, the chance of encounters is baked into the D20. So if the chance is 1 in 5, an encounter happens if you roll 5, 10, 15, or 20. 1 in 6, it happens on a 6, 12, 18. 1 in 3, it happens in 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, or 18, and so on. Not perfect, but really close. Actually, that's a cool system. I didn't think about doing multiples of that, but that is pretty interesting. Notice that in some cases you could add another layer here. For example, you could have 1 in 4 chances of encounters and 1 in 3 chances of bad weather. If you roll 12, you get both, but that will occasionally create strange results if you don't change the numbers a bit. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of cool, right? That you could have 1 in 4 and 1 in 3 with both trigger on a 12, but yeah, it seems like maybe that would be, and I guess depending on how your table is set up, seems like you might get the same kind of result each time. But it is kind of cool. So he's talked about the chance of encounters and the chance of stuff baked into the D20 roll. Now, roll you also, I think, okay, that's, use the D20 to make a survival or perception check for whoever is leading the party. The DC is 15 or more for a place that is hard to navigate. Fail and something bad happens. You get lost, surprised, delayed, trapped, exhausted, distracted, tracked, etc. You can add some critical failures on margins of 5+ or natural 1 C below. Succeed, you're on the right path. If you get 20 or more, you also get a perk, 25+. It's 2 perks and so on. So here are some examples of perks. Perceive a foe before it can see you. Find food, find valuables, find a secret passage or shortcut, move 50% faster, etc. If more than 1 perk would be appropriate, the PCs get to choose. All right, so this is a little bit, maybe not the most clearly written, but it seems like you're going to use the D20. You're going to make, and again, this is kind of 5th edition-y, so you're going to say, oh, make a survival check. You could probably just make a straight roll using whatever modifiers you want. Maybe if you're not having skills, so you're not having a lot of positive modifiers added to the end of the dice, maybe you drop the DC to 10, which would be basically a 50% chance for kind of a medium, or they're saying hard, maybe 15 for hard. I don't know. You have to figure it out, but you're going to make that check, whatever it is. Fail and bad stuff happens. Succeed and potentially good stuff happens. I'm still kind of not sure how this fits with that other stuff, but maybe I kind of wish they could use a table. But it looks like it's all kind of loosey-goosey in here. All right. Let's see maybe the example things up. So they have an example here. Let's take Curse of Strahd as an example. Start with a roll every couple of hours. Perception, test perception on the roll, survival in the woods, insight in the castle or temple. You have a 1 in 5 chance of encounters, 1 in 4 at night or in the woods, 1 and 3 if both. In the woods, you get lost or surprised. Fail in the roads, you get ambushed if there is an encounter, or nothing. Walking down a road should be easy if there is no encounter. I'd probably make something nasty or awesome for natural 1 or 20. No matter how skilled you are, exploration will often be dangerous or rewarding. You can get lost inside Castle Ravenloft, for example. Was this room here before? Giving the whole thing a nightmarish twist, or let Strahd appear on the road for some hit and run on a natural 1 if appropriate, or a giant goat, rock, etc. So this is a little bit confusing. I don't think this is as clear as maybe this person intends, because I thought we were going to be making a roll to see if you get bad weather, but then you're also so I'm not sure. So if you're rolling 1 die, you're going to make this 1 check, and then this check to succeed, you have a DC for it. But then you're also, I'm guessing these things are going to happen on these rolls. So my guess is if I needed to roll a 15 and I roll a 15, but there was a 1 in 3 chance of say bad weather, then we get bad weather, but we've also succeeded. I'm not sure. I kind of dig what he's getting at, idea of reducing the rolls, but I feel like this blog post is just a little bit messy for my taste. If somebody else has a better read, let me know. But I kind of like the idea, but I just feel like they threw it all out there, and it's a little bit need to be cleaned up a little bit. Just one good table would really help there. But I appreciate what they're trying to do.